Hello, and welcome to this new section on meeting and exceeding sales target and the first lecture of that. So, in this section, we're going to start with talking about the first thing of how to meet your excellence in sales management, how to become excellence by talking about in-depth understanding of how can you meet and exceed the sales target. And I think this is the most important thing for a sales manager because that's what I would call is the reason for existence. And in this particular lecture, we will start by talking about how can you plan using the Deming's wheel, and particularly we'll talk about what kind of goals can you set in this for your sales targets. And we will generally talk about what is the Deming's wheel and how it can help you achieve your set and achieve your target and exceed them. So, what do you think? How can you use Deming's wheel to uh, meet and exceed your sales target? Any thoughts? Right. So, Deming's wheel basically consists of a PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, and act cycle. Now, the biggest challenge in achieving the sales target is that you start doing something and you hope like hell that that will achieve your sales target. Now, what this Pete Deming's wheel helps you do is it says first you need to plan. You need to prepare a plan in terms of what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve, and we will talk about that in a lot more detail. Once you have a plan done, then what you do is you need to check this out. You need to do that on a small scale to see whether it is producing the results that you're looking for. And that's what you do in the third stage to study and check. Are you getting the kind of results that you expect to happen with your plans and strategies? And then you act. Now, what you act on is if you are lucky and you get the things right the first time by having those plans and strategies that can help you achieve goals and objectives, you go ahead and replicate that on a larger level. You keep doing month after month till the time they keep working. And if they don't, you go back to the plan cycle as you see here and tweak your strategies in terms of tweak your action plans, so and then do again and check. So it's a continuous cycle till you figure out the winning formula for achieving your sales targets. Now it could happen that it takes a couple of months, it could happen it takes a year. It all depends on how good a planning do you do, how intelligent or smart is the planning that you do. So let's look at how can you plan to meet your sales target. Let's start with the important part of planning to meet the sales target of in the Deming's way. So it's basically about preparing an annual sales plan that you have, and this sales plan that comes to you is with four columns, should fit into one page. In terms of the first column of that is objectives and goal. What is it that you want to achieve? How are you going to achieve that in terms of strategies? And these are broad directions that would probably continue over a period of time. And then there are key projects. How would you execute those strategies? What actions specifically are you going to do or someone else going to do for you that will make those strategy happen and consequently realize your goal? And the last thing that you do is you set responsibilities and the timing for those projects to happen. Okay, so how do you go about getting these four columns filled? You first start with setting the goals, and we will talk about that a couple of minutes more in this lecture as well as in the next lecture. How do we do that? Once you have that, then you need to set strategies, right? The second column, and for that, you need to do what is called identify enablers and barriers. And again, we will talk about that in subsequent lectures. Then, out of the enablers and barriers, enablers are those things that have helped you in the past to achieve something, a goal particularly. And barriers are something that you are not doing enough or you're not doing the right, and hence they're becoming barrier for your progress in or achieving the goals. Once you've identified enablers and barriers, then what you do is you select a couple of them as your strategies. And how do you select that? Again, we will talk about in a lecture separately. And then you convert those strategies into time bound action plans with responsibility assigned. Whether you take the responsibility or you assign to someone within your team, and that makes your annual plan, say, first cut of annual sales plan ready. So, what kind of goals? Let's get into the meat of this by first asking the first, trying to populate the first column. So, what kind of goals on sales targets can you set? Now, any thoughts? There are a variety of goals that you can set, and there are some common goals that would repeat over a period of time, and I'm reproducing those. There could be more goals depending on what your organization is looking for. And the key thing, as we will talk about when we talk about how to set goals, is to align with your organization and your function, particularly your boss specifically. The commonly used goals are, one, of course, sales revenue, and this could come in the form of value in dollars or euros or rupees, or it could be units, number of things sold, number of refrigerators sold, or number of software sold, etc., etc. Then number of customers, how many clients did you get, how many customers were, and you could use all of them or a combination or one of them to set sales revenue, again depending on your preferences in the organization. Increasingly set goal is the profitability, because what happens is the salespeople go and sell some things that you don't even make profit, and then the question happens, why are we selling? That's not profitable. So increasingly, sales team also, sales managers also have been asked to assign responsibility, and it can come in different forms. It could be that you are responsible for gross profits, not fairly so, but for picking up the right things that you have high gross profits. Then it could be in terms of a very important concept, customer contribution. From the sales that you're making, after deducting the gross profit that you're generating, after deducting your expenses, what contribution are you making to the company? That's what is called a customer contribution. The third could be as the bottom line as the profit before taxes. The third important thing in terms of goals is the receivables. It's great and relatively easy to make a sales, but more difficult is to get your money back. So how is your receivables? What is the money outstanding from your customers looking on the dashboard? And it could again be in the form of number of days or value of receivables. And the last thing is more strategic and long term in terms of how good is your relationship with your client. And are you building satisfaction levels that can continue to get the all three of the above? So what do we do next in the next module? In the next module, we will, having looked at what are the goals and objectives that you could set. We will look at how can you set the right goals and objectives. How can you get the objectives and goals that make sense for you and your business and for your own team as well as your company. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture of this new section on meeting and exceeding sales target. I hope you're beginning to learn something new again. You are enjoying, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture.